Welcome to the Stronger Together podcast brought to you by Sam Strength and Conditioning. Today, I'm joined by Tabitha Barron. Tab's a nurse practitioner here in Sam, and she's literally like one of the people I thought of when we first started this podcast about who I desperately needed to have on. She's a phenomenal human being, which you'll hear more about in the episode, but she's also just one of those health practitioners she's one of the good ones. And I tremendously value her opinion and her presence in our gym. And I feel very lucky to have her in the gym and also on this podcast. And I'm excited for you to be able to hear what she has to say. So enjoy.
The beginning.
Yeah. Tabitha, I'm so happy. I've been waiting to do. We've had this podcast for a year, and like you were one of the first people that came to mind where I was like, she has to come on this podcast.
Is it like a sarcasm podcast? Is that why?
You're such an idiot. I hate you. And the part of why I hate you is how reluctant you were to do this. And
I wasn't reluctant. I just am, nervous to be on a camera. It's scary.
Is the camera thing or because I have a theory, and I think it's part of the magic and why you are who you are and why I wanted you to be on so much. You are the kind of person, and I'm going to publicly state this theory, and you can tell me how stupid I am afterwards. But I think you are the kind of person, and this is why you're so good at what you do, is that there's a theory about this, not mine, but the other one, where you learn enough about something to know how little you know about it. And so then you have this imposter syndrome of I don't know if I know anything.
Absolutely. Well, and the more confident you are, I feel like that's, I don't know, not always a red flag, but not everyone knows everything. And to be an expert, nobody's really an expert on anything. We know enough to help, but also get ourselves in trouble and also give us some sort of continuation of why we should continue to learn more. Yeah.
Totally. And ask more questions and be, and to not have a confident, I think I say maybe, or I don't know. What scares me more is when someone's like, oh yeah, this is the answer. 100%. I've got this for sure. With the first query, no, that's the answer. Well, hold on. And that's a new profession or arrogance. Yeah. Sure.
Maybe it's not. But no, it's absolute imposter syndrome. And also because medicine, especially women's health, because we are finally on the map. Women's health is changing so rapidly that the shit we know today is going to be either debunked or expanded upon in 10 years. And so anything that I say officially on camera today, I'll probably look back and be like, what the hell? Tab, it's not even true anymore. And
yeah, but I don't think there's no staunch position that I don't, and maybe we'll get into that. But no, 100%. And if I look back, there's another saying where if you don't look back a year ago and think how dumb you were, you're probably just not advancing, or you have no awareness.
Learning every single day. And so it's this, I don't know, this complicated relationship of wanting to tell people the cool stuff I'm learning about and sharing the knowledge I have, but also recognizing that we don't really know as much as we think we do, or that we should know. We're still all learning.
But that's science, right?
That is science. I know. She's a complicated beast, and I love her.
But right. But otherwise I think it'd be kind of boring. I think you'd run out of things to do.
Really if it was just, it'd be kind of lame.
Yeah.
Be terrifying. So, I know.
Let's talk about who you are real quick. Because we didn't really, I'll do an intro later, but who are you and what do you do professionally?
My name is Tabitha Barron. I'm a women's health nurse practitioner. I graduated in 2011 from grad school down at ASU, and then I've worked in gynecology and OB/GYN ever since.
That's
I don't
awesome.
do any OB now, just GYN.
Cool. And from my outsider perspective, I'm not one of your patients, which would be weird if I was.
I would
But
give you the best pap smear you've ever had.
we did threaten. I did volunteer to go up
Yeah,
in the stirrups for this podcast and just
yeah.
make that super
Get a
fun for
before and
everybody.
after shot.
But as an outsider, for somebody who does talk to a lot of people, like you are one of the good ones, great ones. Like you are renowned in this town as one of the good ones, and that's
Well,
not a
thanks.
small compliment because
No, that means a lot. Thank you.
yeah, good. Well, it's true. And why like I'm a little bit hard on the medical community just because it's I don't know. I think they're not all like you, and everybody can wear the same title. Not everybody, but the people in the industry can wear a similar title, but have a very different expression of their practice and how they practice medicine. So, why are you different? Like, do you have insight into that, or like, what's your and I'm not asking you to like aggrandize yourself, like just as a outside perspective. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think you're gonna do that, but
I mean, I think that it's easier to make a reputation for yourself when you're just a small office. It's really hard in like larger organizations, not because they're not doing a great job, but because there's so many moving plates and so little issues that come up day to day. In a small practice, we can kind of identify and hone in and just have like an exact, easy, replicated standard of care that you practice every day. And so either the patients coming into your office to see you, either they fit that mold and that works for them or it doesn't. And so if it works for them and they fit that mold, they're happy here. So I don't really think I'm not giving better care or doing anything different than like most providers in town. Most of them are really, really great. It's just what I'm offering is a pretty tiny slice. And if you kind of not drink that Kool-Aid, because that makes it sound bad, but if you kind of subscribe to like the type of medicine I offer, the type of things I recommend, then you're happy. And if you're happy, you're going to say good things about my office. So I think I kind of got lucky that way.
don't say that. That's so stupid.
I mean, I
I
got
hate it
lucky
when people
because
say they get lucky,
no,
who
but
are
we
clearly
do.
not just lucky.
Like you work hard and we all work hard and people who are good at their job, like absolutely you put a lot of effort into that, but like you don't get to pick the people who come see you, and so by some measure, like I did get really lucky. Like the women that I serve for the most part are really healthy. They're motivated, like they want to take care of their body. They're willing to do the things that I ask, and that's not really like a lot of medicine isn't really like that, you know? And
In
so is it
women's
the
health
type
specifically, or
I mean, maybe, yeah, I think so. Like women's health is just different. Like it's more like it's complicated and vulnerable and all the things, but women, for the most part, like we are list makers. And so we make a list, we know what we want, we come in, we're like, these are my goals, this is what I want to do. And not to say men aren't, but men are complicated, and there's a reason that I don't see men. You guys are, I don't know, you guys are a difficult breed.
before we got on the air, we were only talking about how basic and simple we
You
are.
are, you guys are simple and basic, and you have like four needs, but every single time, like when I worked in the ER, men would come in and we'd be like, okay, what are you here for? I don't know, everything's fine. And you're like, well, clearly not, you wouldn't be in the ER. Like, whereas, and it's a total generalization, like I'm absolutely generalizing why women's health is amazing and why men are the worst. But
No, I'll echo that. Men
yeah,
don't want to ask for help. They'd
no,
be bleeding and they'd be
correct.
clearly, yeah, missing
We're
a
not
leg.
as comfortable being vulnerable, maybe
Yeah,
as women.
yeah,
Women will come in and be like, these are my symptoms. I feel like shit. I'd like to feel better. Please and thank you.
yeah.
And I like that.
I see it in the gym. It's definitely different, but it's the same. We have more women members than men.
Okay.
Women are more willing to be vulnerable, talk about their
Totally.
hardships, experiences, and why and how it's expressed. And most dudes are like, I want to get jacked. And, and I know everything, so screw you.
Not doing it anymore. I think the reason, like, in a lot of ways, how I got lucky is the women initially who were willing to come in and, like, be vulnerable and talk about their hormones and their mental health and all the things. We helped them and they felt better. So then they told their friends, and when their friends were willing to be in that space, then word spreads, So then I am lucky because I really am meeting with people who want to talk about things.
Yeah.
Like I'm not forcing anybody. No one's being drug in here to talk about things. Like it's word of mouth from people who feel better, and so they're just in a good headspace when they walk in the door.
Yeah. Well, I think you do portray that, or at least make that more outward facing. Like I think you make it fun and you make it kind of empowering where,
Yeah, I do try to do that because it is hard to be vulnerable.
yeah. And this is, I think one of the first times I ever heard about you was you were presenting to a women's group and you went up and were talking about sex toys to like all these older women.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And I thought, and I heard about from Jen, and she was like, this woman came up and just made this like super fun and super comfortable. And they had like, and there was all these women who you would think be made very uncomfortable by this because of their generation. And she made it fun. And like, it was super, like it was awesome. And I think that like, as a like an empowering thing, as a normalization of like, hey, you guys like forget for that generation in particular, like it was just, I think that's such a different perspective. And I think that that's probably embodied by what you're doing now and how you are. So it's not necessarily just you come, like, you're not just like people stumble through your door and they're like, oh, cool. Like, hot damn.
Yeah, it's very intentional. Like who wants to be here? And I'm really grateful for that. And it's worked out very nicely.
How was that? How did you get into your path? Like, was that something you felt a pull towards at a young age, or?
So after nursing school, the only place I ever worked was the ER, and I loved it. Like, I liked the adrenaline and the traumas and like all the craziness that comes with ER. But my favorite were like the OB complications and like gynecology stuff that would come in, and usually that is not what nurses wanted to deal with. Like those were the patients that you kind of had to like play paper rock scissors to see who got stuck with.
Uh-huh.
They were my favorite. Like they just needed so much love and help, and they just needed somebody to help them that wasn't going to be embarrassed to be there or make an awkward situation worse. And I don't know, I felt comfortable in that situation. So it kind of started there.
Got it.
And when I got into grad school, you kind of picked the specialty that you wanted to study. And like looking at all the options, I was like, I'm not drawn to kids. I'm not really drawn to like certain populations other than women. Like I just really liked GYN. So I just picked that one and it kind of rolled from there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's so cool. As you said, like this is becoming more and more at the forefront. I think the last several podcast guests I've had, we talk about women's health, and I'm sitting here with backwards hat and tattoo. Like I'm not. I make this disclaimer I'm like, I'm not a woman, so I find it fascinating to talk to women's health specialists or people with a perspective on it because I don't know it. And so, what have you seen change? Like I don't know, where are we now in this realm and compared to where we were?
I mean, 5 years ago, I think we were still in a pretty fearful spot about women's health, like specifically menopause and hormones, things like that. Like we just didn't really have a lot of research, a lot of like new studies that gave us insight into like that phase of life. I don't know what changed and like why we started to have more and more of that, but something shifted like 2 years ago, it seemed like in medicine, where collectively medicine realized like, wait a minute, I think we're kind of disserving this whole population of women, this whole like perimenopausal, menopausal women. Like maybe they do deserve to be studied. Like maybe they do deserve to feel better, and
they're not just
shitty isn't okay. Like
phasing out of life after they've done their jobs. Yeah.
So I don't know how it happened, but something put us on the map. And then from there, we just took it and ran. And I think we're doing some really cool research now. Like we're actually putting some like education and research and data into like our bodies. And it's rad.
You just that like the menopausal and surrounding eras, or as women as a whole, or both?
I mean, even women as a whole, like There's a new guideline out that talks about pain management when we do IUDs, which is like a device, a birth control device that lives in your uterus. But up until recently, we were just like, sorry, girl, hang in there. This is going to hurt, which is not okay. Like, why was that ever? Like, I was even one of those providers, like, hang in there, girl, I got you. Not acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, but now we are recognizing, like, oh, maybe women don't need to be in pain. Like, maybe we should help them out a little bit. And we are. And so, yeah, I think it's just shifting that, like, maybe women just deserve better. And I think collectively, like, man or woman, we can all kind of agree that that's an okay thing.
Yeah. Do you, I mean, was that like as you go through schooling and again, same thing, like I'm so external to the education of a physician in the industry. Like, I don't know what it's like. So is it what you're studying is mostly based on men, and then it's like kind of just this anecdotal side road that you're like, okay, well, is that, I don't know.
Kind of like a lot of like medications, like pharmacology, a lot of those studies have been done in men, and then we just extrapolate that to women. Like statin medications are primarily researched in like middle-aged male Caucasian patients, like, and then we just extrapolate that data to other populations, and it's probably fine, but it's a little bit unfair. But no, in school, like, we had a lot of good dedicated women's health.
Okay.
Like, we saw female patients, we had female specialties, like we did a lot of like hands-on, so that was lovely. But some of the older data is all kind of based on men that were then just morphing into what we offer for women as well.
Yeah, I think Stacy Sims said something like, women are not just small men.
Correct, yeah, we're not just tiny little men. They're not tiny little humans. Like, they're little people.
It's more to that.
Yeah.
Got it.
No, I know, it's tricky.
And what about blood work stuff? Like, that's such a common or popular topic these days, and I feel like there's a standard panel and standard ranges and are those based mostly off of?
That is tough for me. So, like, hormones specifically, the ranges for normal that we have, I think are valid. Like, they are absolutely valid numbers. But I think there's a lot more gray area to those ranges than we really understand. And so, like, when we measure hormones and you look at a panel, most of the time a woman's hormones will fall in the, like, normal range. But then if you are kind of comparing the ratios of hormones to one another, or their age or other things, there's a lot of interpretation that makes it maybe not abnormal, but suboptimal. And so you have wiggle room to offer hormones. And so it makes it like it's hard, because two different people will interpret the same set of data differently. And it's not that one is right and the other is wrong. It's just what lens are you using to look at that data?
Yeah.
And so that does make it complicated in blood work.
I feel like it's becoming more progressive. Like the more youthful physicians are saying, like, they have a more less conservative perspective on some of those things.
For sure. Well, and someone told me, and this like totally resonated, but I went to this conference recently and it was all like gynecology, menopause specific. And she was probably mid-50s, early 60s, female speaker. And she was saying when she went to medical school, there were not a lot of women. Like, in her grade, there were a few women in her like medical school cohort, but primarily men. But like, as the younger generations have come in, more and more women are part of medicine. And so her theory was the reason women weren't really on the map is because we weren't really represented in scientific communities. Like, the research wasn't being done on us because we weren't there.
Yeah.
And so her theory was it will continue to get better because now so many physicians coming out of med schools and NPs and all these other providers, like, women are there. Like, we are representing science in a really good way. And that kind of made sense. Like, it was less of a like emotional explanation of like women have been ignored and this is a bad thing, and more of like we kind of got overlooked, but this is why. It wasn't intentional. It just has happened.
And it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
There's I'm probably going to tread into something I may regret saying, but like, I think that there's like, as a generational, like, it takes a while I think we've come a long way in a lot of our perspectives on race and gender and et cetera, et cetera. It just takes a while if you consider like there's only been 3 generations of my family over the last 100 years. And so, if they're born with one thing that they learn from their parents, they learn something from their parents. And so I'm a little bit more optimistic in that sense because it's just like, okay, we got to realize like he learned saying this word was not that big a deal. And obviously now we know it is a big deal. Like let's tone that down a little bit. Right. But in the same sense, I think it's like, okay, as a generational experience, like you're coming into this with a different perspective that it probably just takes longer than we feel like it should sometimes.
For sure. No, you're absolutely right.
What in the terms of like, because of what we just talked through, there is a lot of like qualitative data, or not even data, but like just feelings, like how somebody's feeling in comparison to what the labs are showing. Do you feel like you're able to bring more validity to their experience rather than what the numbers are saying?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you can, I think to find a way to validate how somebody is feeling that matches the paper is always great because, humans like data. Like it's really nice to look at something and be like, this is why I feel this way. And when it doesn't happen, it, doesn't really resonate well. But if you can kind of explain like, okay, even though you measure in this value, perhaps this area of gray is why you're feeling, and just kind of take it a level deeper. And maybe they just feel heard, like that's a basic human need, is to feel heard and validated. And so I think that is a huge part of it too, to be like, okay, well, even though you don't entirely match, let's talk about this further, and like game on, you're already there.
Do you feel like there's as a whole, you can speak for your entire gender now, do you feel like there's more authenticity and openness about like what the experience is like in aging than there used to be? And again, that's a broad question.
Yes, but no, it's a good question. Like, yes, official answer, I do. It's still hard because women, I think we are our worst self-critic, and women are not always kind to other women. And so then it creates this like this subtle like discord that's always there to make sure that like we are aging appropriately and we're aging well compared to other women, and all these things that really nobody's looking at except for our own self. Like, so I think, yes, we are getting better, but in my opinion, I think we are still our own worst critic. Like if we could give ourselves some grace, then maybe we would give each other a little bit of grace.
Yeah. Tell me what you mean by aging well. Like what where the comparisons lie.
Feeling good in your body as you're aging, knowing like your skin is going to change, your body is going to change, your muscles are going to change. Like, how can we focus on ways to help your body be healthy, but also be okay with getting gray hair and having wrinkles in our skin and things that are okay. Like when men age, we say that they're like salt and peppery, and like distinguished, and all these, really great, handsome terms. But women, like, we don't have any distinguishing positive terms for having gray hair. Like, we don't have any.
Where do you think that comes from, both sides of it, or do you think that's more, I don't know. You're right. That's an interesting question.
I want to, blame men because it's easier.
Sure.
But really, I think it's something that we've created. Like, I think it's a societal issue that women perpetuate without realizing, because we want to feel good about ourselves. So we do the things to feel good about yourself, which you should. But then I think that's giving other women pressure to then also do those things. And yeah, I think it's kind of on us a little bit. But I don't
All
know.
right. Do you think, okay, let's look at it from an objective, like evolutionarily. I'm not trying to defend the thing.
I like it.
But it's like a male can reproduce until freaking forever. Like way too long.
Your deathbed.
Women can't. So I think there might be something. I don't know. This is actually the first time I've really thought through this out loud, which is always good to make it public.
Always. I love those aha moments that you have.
But I mean, there's something to be said for that. Like, okay, they can keep spreading their seed until they're 97 years old. Whether that's a good idea or not, I don't know. But there might be something to that. But conversely, I think that perspective has now changed from this, like, not necessarily that people should continue to reproduce until their 90s, or women especially, but that you should be active and fit and living a full life that would be attractive to the other sex until that age.
Yep. Yeah. No, it is nice to tell women like you can and should lift weights. Like I remember when my mother-in-law, so she is a physician in Oregon. She's my favorite human ever, best doctor I've ever known. When she was growing up, she was told women should not lift weights because you don't have strong enough joints and muscles to handle it. And so now, fast forward 50 years and she's in her 70s, guess who has osteoporosis?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's nice to see things like that changing. And so women are holding each other accountable that way. And so, yeah, for that, I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, and I think this, again, from my point of view, that was one of the best things the gym like mine was able to provide in the beginning, was like, hey, come, you should be on this side of the weight room. Like,
Yes.
let's learn how to do these things. And it was so, I don't hear this at all anymore, but initially it was like, I'm going to get bulky and turn into a man. And like, there was a lot of negative connotation with lifting heavy weights. And that, I don't hear that anymore. And I think that's been a decade or so of that journey. But
Yeah.
like, it's same thing, and just that it takes a while for it to become, someone's got to like kind of wave the flag of like, no, this is a good idea, and then they lead the charge, and then they're aging more gracefully and better. And
Yeah. And just feeling good in your body. Like, I don't feel like men or women should feel old in their body in their 50s and their 60s. Like, that's not old. We're
no,
not meant to, we're not meant to age rapidly. Like, I think there are things we can do to age well and just enter our older years healthy and balanced and not taking a heavy medication list. And
yeah. And how much of that do you feel like is a bit of a weird badge of honor? So this is a super very specific example, but I have some clients in Mexico, and they were talking about the experience of women there where, and they sound like, this is, again, just observationally, they're like a decade behind in terms of that progress, because they're saying, okay, our collective female group who are getting into older ages are wearing this like a badge of honor. Like, they are supposed to suffer. They're supposed to, like, lose attraction for their spouses. They're supposed to be grumpy, whatever. All the symptoms you could
all the
outline.
things. Yep.
Yeah, that's just like, no, they get together and they kind of brag about how crappy their lives have become because that's, and my point was like, holy crap. Like, I remember, like, that harkens back a little bit to probably a decade or two ago here.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's the same anymore. Do you feel like that's still a thing where people are like, no, this is what I'm supposed to do? They're stubbornly accepting the idea that it doesn't have to be that way.
It's hit or miss. Like, yeah, it depends who you talk to. It does seem like healthcare providers who not even are younger, because that's unfair to say, if you're a certain age, you're going to know things and vice versa. But it does seem like providers who are less flexible and they're not kind of keeping up on new things that are changing are still very fearful of hormones and even women taking like eating too much protein. Like, they're scared that it's going to harm their kidneys, and like really valid things. Like, I get it, but those fears have been debunked in a lot of ways. And
Yeah.
so most providers, like most medical providers, can recognize their like things are changing, but not always. And it's kind of a bummer.
Yeah. I see that a little bit on the men's side of things, just because I work with a handful of men in the gym, and they'll talk about their hormone health, and their primary care physician's like, nope, do not do this. Like, that is, they have their testosterone showing it's 200 or something. And they're like, it's within range, which is not, but I was exaggerating a little, but they're like, yeah, no, don't do that. So anyways, I think it is the same thing. Like, there's just a little bit of a conservative perspective in the older.
For sure.
So
For sure. And yeah, it's hard to, when something has been that staunch for so long, it's really hard to change it. And so I feel like people who are maybe in their 40s, 50s now have a different journey. But then, once you're in your 80s and you have these health conditions, even if you have the knowledge to be like, oh, maybe these things are good for me, like, at what point is it maybe too late?
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
you can't expect a body that has been through 80 years of life to all of a sudden change and start lifting heavy and eating all this protein and, stop smoking and
Yeah,
these other
yeah.
tricky things. But yeah, so it's hit or miss. And, North Idaho is her own special place.
On the cutting edge.
Yeah, the cutting edge of America for sure. Although, like, I don't know what it is about Sandpoint. Like, Sandpoint has some of the best, like, medical providers I think I've ever met.
Yeah,
And I don't know if it's because it's a cool place to live, and so people want to live here, and so they bring their education from wherever they were here, or another reason. I don't know. But I've lived in a lot of small towns, and it seems like Sandpoint is more progressive as far as like medical stuff than other places.
yeah. I agree. I think that's again a broad experience here, but I think that that's the case for most of everything in this town. Like if you go on Facebook all day, you're going to think like, "Oh my God, what is, what have we? Where do I live?" But I think there's a lot more of like forward thinking. There's
Totally.
some more intelligence here than would
Yeah.
present on the social
Yeah.
media platforms.
For sure.
Do you so to play a little bit of devil's advocate on some of this? Just do you ever wonder? I feel like sometimes as a collective community standpoint of the nation, like we tend to swing pretty hard from side to side and then eventually fall somewhere in the middle.
Right.
And I've noticed this. So you brought up protein. Creatine's another one that
Huh?
like it was initially when I was in high school taking creatine, like I was on steroid. Like they're like, you cannot do this. Like you are going to ruin your body forever.
Right.
You're going to die. I
Yeah.
can't believe you do this.
Yeah.
And now we've gotten to a place where I'm hearing more and more advocates for like hyperdosing, like 20 grams of 20 grams of creatine
Okay.
in a day. And I don't know that that's good or bad, but it is like, okay, now we're going way over here. Like,
The pendulum swings, man. Like,
and everyone being on, so I think that would then extrapolate out to like, okay, everyone's on hormones.
yep.
Everyone's maybe going a little aggressive. Not everyone, but like you can go pretty hard in the pain on the hormone side of things.
Right. That honestly is my biggest fear because you can see like the pendulum was over here for so long.
Yep.
There was one study that was done a long time ago. It was complete garbage.
Yep.
We have debunked it. So now we're like running as fast as we can, but new isn't always better, and like being cautious and thoughtful is my favorite thing. So I am very nervous that it's going to become out of hand, maybe. Yeah, and sometimes like when something really good and authentic and great is exploited, then it just completely unravels.
Yeah.
So I do very much think hormones help us age. Hormones can keep us healthy. Like very much subscribe to that. But hormones won't fix 50 years of poor health. And, they're not the magic answer that sometimes I think Instagram wants us to believe. Like they're a piece of a very large pie.
Totally. And I think practitioners like yourself are what will save us from that. Because again, I've from the male perspective, it was like TRT clinics. They've probably been around for, I don't know, 10 years, maybe more, where it was like, that's all they're doing. And guys would just get on these fucking crazy doses of testosterone to way irresponsible levels, like bodybuilders in the 90s levels, and have a lot of negative side effects. And it was like, okay, everyone should be doing this. So that's, I think, gotten somewhat back down, even if it's not appropriately. Again, they're somewhere in the middle. Like I was saying, the clients that I've had where they're like, no, my doctor says I can't do anything about this, or they put them on this like super minor dose, and it's just not enough. I don't know. I'm not sure where the balance lies, but that is a question I have for.
I feel like it's safer if we can be kind of in the middle.
Mhm.
Then you can like continue to push that envelope in a safe way if that really is the right balance. Like, so specifically with hormones, like if they are as great as a lot of us really think they are, like instead of going balls out and then being like, oh shit, there was a side effect, like that was really dangerous, like stick here in the middle and just kind of like take it year by year and just push it a little bit at a time, or don't. Like if what we're doing now is working, like great. But I do see some crazy labs that come in, and I'm like, girl, testosterone is lovely, but that is too much. Like, more is not better, and more is not safe.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that is my absolute biggest fear is that something that I think is really, really helpful and good will pendulum swing the other way and everything will get ruined. But
But
I
I
don't know,
want
the
it
people I
now.
know who manage hormones do it really well and are thoughtful and cautious. So I'm hoping that that is what continues.
But I'm going to my beach vacation in 3 weeks, and I want to.
I need to drop 60 pounds and I need all of my abs. I'm like, I can't.
Do you? Is there? Can you put some guidelines on that? Those numbers, like the big numbers you see in labs, or is that just too broad of a thing to
It's really
expound upon?
broad. Like, and it's crazy because if you ask 12 different women's health providers, what is your favorite range for women to be at, testosterone or estrogen, we'd all have different answers.
Mm.
Like, and it kind of depends on the woman. Like, the more athletic she is, the more of a mover and a shaker tends to want to run a little bit higher. I would say the average woman feels really great if you can get her testosterone like 60 to 100 is kind of like my preferred range.
And that is the free testosterone. I'm
That's the
sorry,
total.
that's
Total
total. Yeah, I can always mess all these numbers up. Yeah.
total testosterone.
Okay.
And if, yeah, I mean, if she's having side effects like acne and hair growth, like that's horrible. I think that's a lateral move. Like if you give someone hormones and then, or any prescription and they have a side effect, you give them another prescription to balance that out. Like, oh my God, I hate it. Like, so I'd much rather start slow and just like increase up. But
I love what you just said in the again as an outsider perspective, and I've emailed about this, I've talked about this, but like I think there's so many people who are one or the other. It's like, okay, I'm either all in on all drugs and this can solve everything. I just need to like titrate this with that and this and the other. Like I just got to find the next drug to fix this little problem that I'm having as a side effect. Or it's I hate drugs and they're the worst thing and I don't trust big pharma.
right.
And there's somewhere in the middle is probably the
Someone
right answer.
really great.
Yeah.
Really great. Yeah, it's a tricky thing. So yeah, that's kind of like my rough range, but some women feel really great with a testosterone of 55 and that is lovely. Like
Mm.
if she feels good, by all means, like I am not going to raise her dose just to make her labs better.
Mm-hmm.
But, from the small sample size of women we see, somewhere from 60 to 100 seems to be pretty great.
Cool. How much of a like chicken versus egg uh, internal debate or debate do you have with your clients in terms of that? Like where, and by that I mean better sleep, better workout habits, better diet will probably contribute to better hormone health.
So much.
But also if you can't get out of bed and you hate everything, you're not going to do those. Like so where there's probably not an answer, but like what does that conversation look like?
Totally different from woman to woman. You can kind of feel out, probably much like you when people come in, you can feel out who's motivated to make a change versus who really wants to feel better and your heart breaks for them because they don't, but they're not quite ready to do the hard things. And so I try to be really clear that like, hey, I can give you some hormones and that will absolutely help your physical motivation. It'll help your sleep quality, but you have to put some work in here. And if you aren't able to, or you don't want to, or whatever, like it doesn't matter what I give you, it's not going to work. And so I just try to feel them out to see like, is it even worth it? Because, hormones are risky. Like no medication or anything you put in your body is not without risk.
Yeah.
And if you're going to take the plunge and do that, especially for something that is kind of new in medicine that we have data on, but it's new data, it's not long-term data, and that's kind of scary.
Totally.
If you're going to take the plunge and do that, you need to make sure that all the moving parts are in place. So yeah, it's an awkward kind of hard conversation, but the women who are motivated to do it, like they're the ones we kind of take a chance on. And if not, like you can still offer help and guidance and support. It just isn't always going to look like hormones.
Yeah. I've seen the same or felt the same about the GLP-1 class of drugs too, where it's like, if there's a responsibility on your end if this is what kickstarts your thing,
Totally.
gets you going, like that's awesome. But if you're expecting that this is the only thing, that's probably misguided adventure you're about to go upon.
Totally, totally. And that one, like the GLPs specifically, man, like I remember when those became, more available for like the average human to try for weight loss. And almost everybody I talked to was really hesitant and being like, oh, I don't know about those medicines. They're really crazy. And now almost all of us, like that pendulum totally swung. And now we're like, you know what? In the right population, those are a game changer. Like,
You mean the last like 18 months or so?
yeah,
Or okay, yeah,
if
just
that,
that's when
like,
I recall it kind of.
yeah, 18 months, maybe 2 years, but they have not been around, for like the average person use. And so, yeah, that one has been kind of fun to watch because, like, in the beginning, I was terrified of them. Like, I was
Sure.
really scared, that they were going to just give women eating disorders and all these horrible things. But the women I've seen who have used them, they monitor their protein, they are active, they are moving their body, like, they are doing the things
Mm.
that a body should be doing, and they're for the first time ever seeing results and finally feeling good about themselves,
Yeah.
which is cool. So yeah, I was never against them, but I was kind of scared in the beginning, and now like I don't manage them. Like there's like a certification and things you take for it. I haven't done it, but like I'm very much in support.
Mm. Yeah. So, I mean, again, I think that's a kind of a healthy response, especially where it's like I don't the perspective you've already shared, where you just it's probably not as advertised or may not be as like there's probably a catch to this thing. There's no
Right,
biological free lunch to this stuff.
for sure.
Um, but yeah, it seems like I don't know how many people in my facility are on them or not. I know quite a few. But it's great. Like if it's in conjunction with all the other things, and that's maybe what got them going. Like that's beautiful.
Totally. And I think I'm seeing the other side because my office is so small and I see like a pretty specific patient population. Those women are already doing all of the hard things. Like
Mm,
most of them probably already work with Jen. Like they already work with Amanda. They already have like their people,
yeah, yeah,
And so because of that, maybe I am only seeing good success because the patients going into it are already doing everything,
right. Yeah, and I think that's sorry,
which is not.
my
Oh,
dog just
look,
came to life in
puppy.
the background.
I love her.
um, yeah, that's I think that's a good indication on both sides for the hormones and for that. It's like if you're trying
Totally.
these things, like, but it's not like that's when you might explore these other options. And I made the kind of counterpoint a second ago where maybe it is the thing that gets you going,
Hmm.
but I think that the former might be a better option than the latter. And starting with the good habits and trying as hard as you can,
Totally.
and then
Even easy
supplementing.
things like, life is hard and it's busy and you pick your battles and it's really hard to make sure that you're giving yourself the time that you need every day, right? Like, way easier said than done. And so, even if there's so much room for improvement, if you can get someone to agree to something simple like walk for 15 minutes on your lunch break, like just something to motivate yourself to put some skin in the game. We will be a team. We'll get you feeling better. I think that, I don't know, just maybe gives them some confidence. But if you give someone a list of like 80 things they need to start doing every day, like,
Oh yeah,
way,
totally.
way. But yeah, if anything, I think it's just meeting people at the table where they are and growing upon that.
Yeah. To the converse side of this, you mentioned this a second ago that your fear was that it was going to initiate eating disorders and this
Hmm.
kind of anorexia that I think we'd kind of moved out of it from the 90s. Like that was like the hip thing was
Right.
in the 90s was like skin and bones or
Right. The Kate Moss era was
so
not a healthy era.
I get concerned a little bit because I do feel like that's kind of headed in like the celebrity side of things seems like that's coming back a
Yeah.
little where it's like this is now
Yeah.
it went from like strong and sexy and love your body for what it can do to now it's like I'm gonna try and
Yep.
show my hip bones off.
Yep. And yeah, it does. It makes me nervous. Yeah. I don't know where it will go, but I really hope that because we have the recent platform of strong is the new pretty, that will kind of continue rather than just like falling backwards and just being rail thin and with no muscle definition. But I don't know.
Yeah, right. I do. I think that as, again, thinking back to like the generational side of things, when those, if that becomes in fashion, when you break your hip every time you trip over the, walkway coming in your house, like you're probably going to realize, okay, I maybe overshot the mark on this.
Maybe this is not great. Yep.
Maybe I
Maybe
should do
this is
both.
not good. Yeah. So, well, yeah, time will tell on that, but yeah, I don't know. I'm hopeful and excited and all the good things, but I'm also nervous
Yeah.
that, because you don't know what the future is going to hold, and you don't know what research is going to show, and I don't know. There's just so many unknowns, but it feels right. Like helping women have a good body image, helping women learn how to eat,
Hmm.
and focusing on things that actually matter. Like sleep is important. Like maybe you won't get dementia if we can fix your sleep now.
Yeah.
Like maybe these things that the elderly population struggle with, like maybe they are preventable if we do some of the things now.
Yeah.
Like maybe that doesn't have to be our future.
Yeah. Which is awesome. I mean, that is such an
Great.
optimistic perspective of like, oh, cool. I can have another 40 good years. Like, I
Yeah.
thought I was going to be dead soon. Now I turned 40.
Right. Right. Like who's to say I'm gonna be like my grandma at 50 and sitting in a chair and just knitting? Like
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What, what questions should I be asking? Like, what do you wish everybody knew? Like, from your perspective that I may not have thought through, or like as a big dumb ape male?
No, you're not a big dumb ape male. You're a boy, so you're, precious and simple. Like you're one of the good ones. Like for people in general or like women specific?
Well, just like from, if you had a banner, like a big billboard, you're
Yeah.
like, this is what I get to say to the world, and I wish they would
Yeah.
all see it. What would that say?
What is your self-care like? Like your basic self-care. Like, do you know how much protein you get in a day? Do you know how much water you get in a day? How many hours of sleep are you getting at night? Do you get any sort of free time? Like, do you have even a moment in your day that is unscheduled? Like that, I think it's overlooked more than any self-care aspect. But like, what is your actual self-care time for yourself? Um, Beyond that, like, are you in a position to prioritize your health and your aging? Like, are you there yet? And if you're not, that's okay. Let's focus on some self-care, get you feeling better, and then you can expand on that. But yeah, so I think what is your self-care is a big one that I wish we could ask more. And then what would be the other? I wish I could just like make a bullet point. Um, Once that is built, what is your network like to allow you to dig deeper?
Hmm.
Like, which
Yeah.
is a very vague answer, but
No, it sounds like being soft, like being more, filling yourself with more self love and like recognition of like you're enough and you're doing enough, and that
yeah, because
empowers you to be able to do more.
I feel like if I have too much of an agenda, then that I'm not able to meet people where they are. And, if you have this like ultimate plan of like, we're going to give you hormones and we're going to count your macros and we're going to do all these great things, like those are awesome. But if they are not ready for that, like you've missed your window. And
Yeah.
so I try not to have an agenda ever. I just want to kind of sprinkle in little things where I can. Like, oh, you have PMS and hot flashes or whatever, like we can fix that.
Yeah.
Once you're feeling better, like let's focus on your sleep. Like what can we do to get your sleep better? Like then what can we do to carve out a little bit of time to exercise every day? Like how can we, you know,
Yeah.
little things, but yes, it's no massive overhaul. Like I don't think people need this huge, complete, life-changing like hormone agenda. Like they don't need that. They need little sprinkles of things in addition to basic stuff
Yeah.
like food and sleep and water.
Do you feel like the like Instagram hustle culture thing has invaded the female perspective? Like I know it has for the men, where like
Totally.
they see, you got to get up at 4 and do your cold plunge, and then you got to run 10 miles, and then you got to,
Right.
do the
Right.
thing. And that's, if you don't do any of that shit, you're a big fat
Yeah.
pile of nothing.
Yep, you're not ever gonna make it. No, that is, oh, it's the worst.
I agree.
Yeah, social media is not always kind. I don't know that it's ever kind, really, but all
Well, this is going to be on social media. We're saving the world
right. Well, this
with
is
one.
kind. Yeah, yeah.
We're
Like
doing
just
our part.
like little. I just want people to do little things, like little things of support. Like if progesterone taken at night will help you sleep, bingo. Like we can do that.
Yeah.
If a little bit of testosterone cream will give you the energy to like keep up with your children and motivate you to go for a walk, awesome.
Yeah.
But it's like one itty bitty sliver in this giant Costco sized pie.
Totally. And I think that this is especially timely as we embark upon January and everybody, like, I think that a lot of times people make this list of like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then they do none of it and feel shitty about it because they, quite frankly, overwhelm themselves. And then,
Yeah,
which was
by the
never realistic to begin with.
January, like they've fallen off the wagon. And then not only did they fall off the wagon, they feel bad about themselves. Like, oh my God.
Right.
We already feel like shit about ourselves. We carry all of this weird like female guilt that we shouldn't have, but we do it anyway. But if maybe they just changed one thing January 1st, maybe that would be more sustainable.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my method, is just slow and easy, and that works for a lot of people. Some people it doesn't. They're like, girl, this is taking too much time. Like, I want the whole enchilada, and that is great. We will hook them up with those offices.
Yeah, right. And that's a unique, that is a 1 in a billion person who is going to do that in any sort of successful, healthy way that will be sustainable for the rest of their life. And
Totally.
yeah. All right. That's awesome. What else? I feel like you've touched on a lot of amazing stuff. I just want to make sure that I have
I was way less nervous than I thought I was going to be.
it's because I'm just so comfortable.
So zen. Like, zen and chill. I thought for some reason you had like a studio in town that I had to go and like wear the headset and all the things, and I'm just in my office. Like, it's just my...
You said you were going to come on with like just shelves and shelves of sex toys behind you. So I feel a little like...
I meant to put them out behind me, and then I was running late because I'm not tech savvy and I couldn't figure out what to link. But I plan on having like all the vibrators behind me, but
next time. Yeah, we used to have people at my house and they do it in this room, and then I got tired of actually cleaning up my office and making it not look like a freaking bomb went off in here. And I was like, let's just do this remotely.
Let's just not do this anymore. That's fair.
They're going to see the reality of this nonsense of the pile of clothes and dead animal heads on the wall. Like, it's just, you know what? We should just keep this sterile. So, yeah.
I love it so much.
Yeah, good.
Oh, it's so rad.
Well, let's do it again. I know that now this
It was really fun. I liked it.
Good. Cool. Okay. Well, I'm going to let you go. Save the rest of the world.
Done. I'm done for the day. I'm super stoked.
Sweet. But yeah, thanks for doing what you're doing. I know a lot of your patients, and like you are, like you said before, you're empowering them to live lives that they love through the touches that you get with them. And I think you make a tremendous impact, whether you want to admit it or not. So,
well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Right back at you, man. We're a good team.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, cool. See ya. Oh wait, hold on. How do people find you? How do people come and stumble in your door accidentally after they're so wowed by your awesomeness?
Awesome. Applegate Healthcare. We are down right by, like, in between the high school and Carter Country. So Applegate Healthcare. I have a website. They Google it. I'm the only one here. It's just me.
Cool.
Look for this face. My office staff is amazing. They are the greatest people I've ever met. They will take very good care of them, getting them scheduled.
They are very nice. I've walked in there one time when I was trying to find my wife. So that's all I can say. I know they were very kind to me. Yeah.
No, they're very sweet. They're the absolute greatest, and I love them more than life itself.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Now I'll let you go.
Deal. Happy Friday.
Yeah, thanks.
I will not see you tonight, but
What the
I'll
hell?
send all of my love. I'm just recovering from COVID, so I'm not going to go breathe on all my friends.
Oh, sweet. That's nice of you.
I'm going to stay. I know.
Oh, nice.
I know. Yep.
All the more glad we did this remotely.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
All right, cool. See ya.
Cool. Thanks, man. See you soon.
Thanks. All right. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are ready to get started on your health and wellness journey and need some coaching, great community of people to help support you, or you just want to have some direction and want my opinion on what you should do next, go ahead and shoot me an email, Kenny@sandpointstrength.com. More than happy to help get you going. Thanks.